when there's more people in the room as we gather. And a question I'm posing to everybody, I'm Coach Jan. I am a martial artist. I coach the U.S. Tai Chi push hands team, the grappling side of the very meditative martial art Tai Chi. I love sharing Tai Chi as the fastest way that I can add value into someone's life, because you can learn one exercise, one breathing concept, and immediately have a better experience. And I love that. And even right now, I'm standing here. I just came out of a car driving. I was on set all day shooting and doing some Tai Chi. We shot some Tai Chi, and then we're shooting some other stuff for one of my clients. And then, now I'm back over here doing this with you guys. And the first thing I always do, hello, welcome. The first thing I always do, hello, minimalist, maximalist. The first thing I always do is just the second I walk into a room, I do my best to remind myself. You see me pulling my hair, but it's only to help you visualize the concept of an imaginary string lifting you from the top of the head. And once I engage that feeling, that imaginary string lifting me from the top of the head, that's the first thing that helps me with my center line awareness. And center line awareness, your balance, all this stuff is just so important as you walk through the day and do anything at all. So I think in that sense, Tai Chi is massively helpful for everything you do in life. And from a sports athletic aspect, for what I do in Tai Chi, there's really two top tournaments in the world. One's in China, one's in Taiwan. And so for the Taiwanese Tai Chi World Cup, I have 3 World Cups. So I have 3 titles, 3 world champion titles. And I'm really grateful to have been the captain of the U.S. team and also the coach. And I love sharing this stuff. So I'm going to show you exercises today that are like weightlifting for intention. And the question that I will pose to everyone is, what is intention? What's going on, Juan? Good to see you. The question is, what is intention to you? How would you define it? How would you define intention? So if you just write a little comment in there, I'd be really interested in what you think about. Hello, Levensky and Milena and Guna. What is intention? That's the question right now, and that's going to bring us to our exercise tonight. So how would you define intention? I would define intention, and feel free to write in the comments. But I would define it as how you program your attention. And it's a bit different than simply shifting focus, because shifting focus and your ability to shift focus, to control your attention, where it goes, that's one thing. And we're going to do today breathing exercises with visualization. Tai Chi is breathwork, visualization, and body mechanics. Those 3 things combined. Tai Chi is breathwork, visualization, and body mechanics. So when you visualize your breath moving through your body, you're gaining greater control over your attention. And once you have control over the attention, you can program the attention with intent. Very similar to the concept of will, your willpower. So how do we gain not just willpower, because willpower is often described as a general concept. Oh, you have strong will. No, it's like, what do you exactly want to do? What are you building with your visualization that allows you to do something very specific in the real world instantly? So high performers, top CEOs, top athletes, etc., visualize for years, and then they work toward those goals, visualizing over and over again, visualizing the wins, visualizing what to do when they have the challenging situations, having conversations around these visualizations. But how do you bring that into your own body? And there's a way to do it. And that's what we're going to start doing today. And Tai Chi has really built a system that a lot of the core mechanics of Tai Chi are found across the world in different modalities. And what has happened in China is that it's been put into a wonderful container called Tai Chi. And I like to start out saying that it's across modalities, meaning the core mechanics of Tai Chi are across different types of disciplines all across the world. Because Tai Chi belongs to the world. It doesn't belong to any one culture. The core mechanics belong to the entire world. And I have deep gratitude for the Chinese culture that has built this amazing container. And so my intention with Tai Chi is showcasing the tools within this container in ways that you can use in your daily life to actually utilize intention in any given moment to have a direct shift in that moment in your life. And whether that's redirecting pressure toward a goal in your life, meaning that pressure can be as subtle as an emotion, it could be as extreme as warfare. That's where the martial art comes in. But pressure is pressure, no matter what you want to call it, no matter how subtle or extreme. And redirecting pressure toward a goal, it's a massive, massive skill set that can be used all day, every day. And so as the captain and coach, former captain and coach of the US Tai Chi Push Hands team, I love sharing pressure redirection, but it starts inside of you. So rather than going right to the two-person exercises, which we will eventually do on these live streams, that you can do with a partner safely, slowly, to build a massive amount of strength in your body and with your partner's body and have tons of health benefits. The thing we're going to do right now is we're going to start with Neigong. And Neigong is like weightlifting for intention. It is one of the three components of the Tai Chi system, the three major pillars. And one is a form. You've probably seen people in the park doing these long pieces of choreography very slowly. That's the Tai Chi form. And then there is the push hands, which are the two-person exercises. And they're very slow normally. They build tons of sensitivity, tons of strength. But then there's the Neigong. And Neigong sometimes can be referred to as Qigong, but Qigong is actually a huge umbrella. And Tai Chi and even aspects of yoga fall into the umbrella of Qigong. So right now we're going to do Neigong. And we're going to start with a little bit of Qigong just to get us warmed up. And then we'll go into the Neigong exercises. And again, these Neigong exercises are more isolated. They will work you out. You will sweat. And you'll be surprised at the circulation you feel in your body, and you will feel it today. So let's go for it. So we'll start out with an imaginary string lifting you from the top of the head. I'm using my hair just to illustrate the sense of your center line. That's what we're looking to connect with right now. So an imaginary string lifts you from the top of the head. And once you feel that general lift, you're going to keep it, and now allow yourself to feel relaxation cascading down your spine. Now you can do this standing, as I'm doing right now, or you can do it seated. You can also even do it laying down. If you're doing it seated, just as a note for you, I'm bringing this chair right here. If you're seated, push your sit bones, meaning the part of where the pelvis meets the femur bones, push it into the chair. So pushing down, rather than rolling yourself back and having the spine lean forward. Just push the sit bones into the chair when you feel that imaginary string lift you up. That'll help connect you into your chair. But if you're gonna do it standing with me, that's awesome. And either way is great. Standing, make sure your feet are shoulder width apart and parallel. And your palms, whether you're seated or standing, are gonna face parallel to the ground, with special attention on the middle finger of each hand. Keep the mouth closed. The tongue will be placed on the ceiling of the mouth. Tongue, ceiling of the mouth. Very, very gentle. And you're going to keep your mouth closed, and all of your breathing is going to be in and out through your nose, and your eyes are going to remain open the entire time. Very important. This is very different than, let's say, seated meditation. So we're going to keep our eyes open as we visualize. Massively important. It's called mapping. You're going to map in your body, you're going to map on other people's bodies, and you're going to be able to visualize all this stuff at once. Mouth closed, inhaling into the nose, or to use the belly to breathe. In yoga, they may refer to it as breathing like a baby. You're going to inhale, drawing the breath into the belly. And we're going to pick a very specific point in the belly. It's called the lower dantian. the lower dantian in Kung Fu and Tai Chi, but it's the second chakra in yoga. It's 3 finger lengths below the belly button. That area, or 2 inches. Not everyone on here uses inches. So, and the concept is that the breath, you're using this area to breathe, but the focus is in the centermost part of the body. The centermost part of your body. So, along that center line awareness. Remember, you're lifting your head, relaxation cascades down. Mouth closed, tongue on the ceiling of the mouth. The counterpoint to the tongue is very subtle, slight tension in the anus. Very subtle, very slight. And those 2 points act like the positive and negative sides of a battery. It helps all the energy flow in traditional Chinese medicine up and down the front of the body, the conception vessel, and up and down the back of the body, the governing vessel, the spine, the nervous system, etc. So you have this imaginary string. You have the relaxation washing down the body. You have the knees softening and the weight mostly on the heels, which keeps you passive. When you shift your weight to the balls of your feet, you're actually more aggressive. Super important to recognize this. This is something that affects our entire day as well. And when you want your money back, you got your receipt, you go up to the cashier of a store, and you say, hey, I need to return this item. Your weight shifts to the balls of your feet because you need something done. But when you want to be more passive, shifting the weight to the heels, feel the difference in your body. And right now we want the passive mode. We want the body to be as calm as possible. And we want to minimize tension, not remove all tension. We want to minimize the amount of energy that we spend on any particular posture because energy costs, it costs us. So we're relaxing. We're breathing into the belly, seeing the breath. This is a new concept here for many of you. Inhale and see the breath as a color, whatever color intuitively comes to you, and see that breath gather in the belly. And exhale, push that breath up, let it expand at the shoulders and go down the arms to the palms and fingertips. Inhaling into the belly. Exhale, washing down the arms to the palms and fingertips. Inhaling deep. Exhaling down. And this exercise, just by itself, right now, is called Gilded Pillar. It's the first exercise of the 8 pieces of brocade, which is a classic Qigong set. Remember, Qigong and Neigong are different. Qigong is very soft, relaxed, breathwork visualization, body mechanic. But the Neigong is going to be more isolated. It'll be a little tougher on the body and build a lot more strength. So take this moment in, inhaling into the belly, exhaling, washing the color down. Soften the hands, inhale, lift the wrists. I'm going to turn to the side just so you can see. You're lifting your wrists, not directly to the side, but about 40, not all the way 45 degrees, but a little bit in front of your hip line. And exhale, wash the color through the palms and fingertips. You're washing that color out, pushing it out to the sides, and you're going to inhale again and lift the hands up. Interlace the fingers above the head, exhale, soften. Let the hands float down from the collarbone. Soften your knees now. And then inhaling up, stretching out of the hips onto the toes, out of the shoulders, exhaling down. So remember that concept, the concept of the color, the breath as a color. For everyone who's just joined, we're doing some Qigong before we start doing some Neigong, which is like weightlifting for intention, strengthens the willpower. So we're inhaling into the belly, exhale, wash down the arms. The breath as a color, whatever intuitively comes to you, pushes out the hands. Inhaling up now, breath lifts the wrists. Turning to the side so you can see. Exhale, push the color out of the fingers like a hose, blasting the light, the color visualization out. And then inhale like you're sucking through straws, and each finger is like a straw, As you inhale, the color visualization pulls in to the belly. Inhaling up, interlace the fingers, exhaling down, soften the knees. Hands by the collarbone, inhaling up, turning the palms to the ceiling, stretching out of the hips and onto your toes, stretch up. And exhale. See the breath as a color washing down the arms and down the legs. It should feel like a radar that starts or emanates from the belly and moves out through the body, like a big ripple. We'll do it again. From the other side so you can see the hands are at the side. Inhaling up, the breath lifts the wrists. Exhale, push the color through the fingertips. Inhale. Draw the hands up and interlace the fingers, exhaling down. This is called uplifting heaven. Inhaling up. Stretch out of the hips onto your toes. Exhale, wash the color through the whole body like a radar. 2 more. Inhaling up. Exhale out. Inhaling up. Draw the color in. Interlace, exhaling down. Inhaling up. Remember, you can do this seated as well. If you're in a chair, this is totally fine. Exhale, wash out. You can even do this lying down. And 1 more. Inhaling, breath lifts the wrists. Exhale, wash the color through the palms and fingertips, blasting the light out. Breath as a color. Inhale, draw the color from the fingertips back into the belly. Interlace, exhaling down. Inhaling up, 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 stretching out of the hips onto the toes. And exhale, wash the color through the whole body. All the way through. Beautiful. So, before we go on to the next exercise, just want to make sure you guys, if you ever have any questions, please just write them in. I'll happily answer and address any one of these questions that you might have. Of course, please like and subscribe or follow on TikTok, because that's massively helpful for building this. This is my first Tai Chi live stream, so I want to do this. I'll be doing this probably 4 days a week. Definitely more encouraged to share. I'm already training, so I might as well train with you guys. So I'm sharing a lot of my personal training with you. So please like, please follow, and please share. Please let more people know that there's free world-class Tai Chi happening on TikTok, and it's gonna be great. So please ask questions. The questions help all of us. They help me. Help me look at something from a different angle. So anytime you have a question, please know that there's no question that's silly, no question that is dumb. All the questions are valuable, and I think that one of the greatest gifts you can give anybody of anything in the human existence is great questions. So please ask you can only get great questions by asking questions in general, and then you'll find the best version of questions for you, and that will be the best for the people that you meet. So please ask questions. And let's move on. The next exercise is going to be called Separating Heaven and Earth. And this exercise is like a nice stretch, but it's really interesting because I'll just show it to you. This stretch looks like this, right? But you might see people do this, which is great, but it's not what we're doing. So rather than stretching up and bending allowing the obliques to stretch and compressing one, stretching the other one, opening the ribcage, which feels wonderful, we're going to do a little bit different, something a little bit different here. We're going to make sure that our imaginary string that's lifting the top of the head is going to maintain our center line. And that center line will not be disrupted for anything at all. The only time we deviate from our posture is when we will it so, meaning that our willpower is so strong that we only deviate when we've chosen to deviate. So right now we're going to choose to maintain this lift from the top of the head as we do this stretching exercise, this coordinated breathwork visualization biomechanic exercise, or Qigong. So you're going to take your fingers on each hand and you're going to jab, meaning you're going to press the fingers into just below the top of the backs of the legs, below the buttocks. pressing them in, as if you're pressing buttons in your muscles. So you're going to just slide them in. Slide just the top of the back of the legs, right there. And just allow them to relax down from the side. And now we're going to inhale the center line, right up the center line. The palm will be facing the ceiling. I should let you guys know that I have scar tissue from birth on both of my arms. And this has been a massive advantage for me because it's caused me to have to find new ways to do techniques that I can't do properly. So we've innovated tons of techniques and found new ways to do things just simply because I can't do certain things with my hands. So what that means for you is that if I ever say palms to the ceiling, notice that I had to turn my body to get my palms to the ceiling because I actually can't do it properly with very much. So if I say palm facing the ceiling, turn your palm over. I really can't do it much on my left hand. But yeah, just turn your palm to the ceiling if you can. That's great. And if you need to do it a little bit differently, that's fine too, because Tai Chi is really for your body and you have to find how it works for you. So remember, pressing below the buttocks, tops of the legs, button goes in. You're touching the buttons. Inhaling, feet shoulder width apart and parallel. Breath lifts the wrists up the center line. Inhale even deeper, like you're turning on a faucet even wider. And turn the head in the same direction as the fingers are facing. So my eyes and my fingers are pointing in the same direction. Keep on inhaling. The breath should feel like the palm should feel like the breath is lifting it up, meaning a string is pulling it up, not pushing, but pulling it up. And the other hand is going to have pushing. Remember we talked about intention in the beginning of this wonderful session we're doing. Pushing is a very particular intention. We're pushing down. This is being pulled. It's like the difference in fencing. A fencer, their tip of their blade is pulled to the target, rather than in many other martial arts where you thrust and you thrust forward. So the thrust forward is actually if you're pushing, but this is being pulled. The palm is pulled up as you inhale, the other one pushes down, and then exhale. Let the hand float right down your center line. So notice we're already training ourselves to program two separate intentions simultaneously into one movement. Inhaling up, breath lifts the wrist, palm faces the ceiling, up the center line. Inhale even deeper, the eyes look in the same direction as the fingertips, and the breath lifts the palm up, and the other palm, this back palm, is going to push down. Now notice this, again, instead of stretching out of this posture, we're stretching within the alignment of our solid center line. Your center line awareness in a given moment on a given day should feel as if you're a pillar of light. Your awareness is like a pillar of light. And everything, your entire body is wrapped around that pillar like vines. So when you turn, when you shift, when you look at somebody, the body should feel like it's wrapped around your awareness, because your awareness is deeper than your physical. Very important. Inhaling up. Exhaling, drop the hand down, down, down. And we'll switch sides again. So it returns. And for those who are new, we're taking our fingers and just placing them at the tops of the backs of the legs like you're pressing a button. Very important for the meridians, the wonderful circuits in the body that help a lot with circulation, not just your blood, but energetic, electrical, etc. in the body. So we're going to take our fingers and just gently press them to the tops of the backs of the legs. And now one hand's going to come in front while the other one remains. Inhaling up, breath lifts the wrists. Inhale even deeper as if you're turning on a faucet wider. And the palm is being pulled to the ceiling by the breath. The other palm at the apex of this lift is going to push down. And feel that stretch while maintaining your center line. meaning don't break. Stay straight. Exhale. And feel how that stretches the back muscles. And we're going to shift. Other hand replaces. Inhaling up. Breath lifts the wrists right up your center line. Inhale even deeper, turning at the collarbone, turning your head. Breath is lifting the palm. And the other palm, the downward palm, is going to push down. Exhale, drop the hand right down the center line. We're going to do this one more time on each side because I promised that we would do Neigong tonight, and this is Qigong. So we're going to do the harder, more intense. And when I say harder, I don't mean like, super workout, pushing yourself to work your muscles in a certain way. We're going to do a very different, very, very vigorous exercise in a moment, and you're going to love it. Inhaling up, even deeper. And I promise you, it's going to give you tons of energy. Exhale down. One more. Breath lifts the wrists up, the center line. Inhale even deeper. And exhale, let the hands float right down. Beautiful. And now we're going to widen our stance. I'm actually going to lower the camera here. And as I lower the camera, of course, just want to remind you guys that this is the first of our Tai Chi sessions together. So it's just going to get better. We got the lighting figured out, and it's going to be lots of fun. So I'm really excited to be on this journey with you guys. So I lowered the camera so that you can see the difference in the stance. The stance we just had, unless you're seated, which is why this chair is here. But if you were seated, you can stay seated. And remember, if you are seated, for everyone who is seated, to push your sit bones, look at my sit bones, push them into the ground or into the chair. So if you find yourself rolling with your lower back and your back slouching in the chair, push the sit bones down and imaginary string lifts you up. And that'll help connect you, ground you in the chair. And that'll be really, really valuable when it comes to putting your mind through the chair. And you can do this actually like anytime you sit down. Like if you're sitting down for this, that's great. I'm going to do it standing up. But anytime you're sitting down, whether you're in a car or you're in a restaurant or wherever you are, to be able to push those sit bones through the object you're sitting on is going to help you push your mind through the object and to ground yourself with the object. There are exercises, mental exercises to do when you're lifting weights to connect you to the object. I have a son. I have an 8-year-old son. I love him with all my heart. He's my favorite human being. And I remember my life changed when I held him. And holding him was so amazing because I learned the difference between holding something with care, a person, versus holding weight. And if you can shift your mind to holding weight with care, any object, it is a massive, massive like physiological difference. Like your experience changes. So holding my son made me lift weights differently and also made me wrestle differently. So when I returned to the U.S. Tai Chi Push Hands team as the coach, I started with all my teammates. I would just play and fight differently. And it was because I cared so much for them. And that amount of care that I learned from holding my son. So I highly recommend the chair and the care. The chair and the care. Pushing the breath through, connecting to the chair, and having as much care for that object, the seat that you might be in, your car, etc., as you would for your own body, for someone else's body that you care deeply about. And pushing that care, expanding that care through that person or object. So that's a little footnote. So imaginary string lifts you up. We're going to exhale onto one side, widen the stance. And now we're going to be shoulder width and a half apart. This is a half horse stance. Horse stance you may know from Kung Fu or karate or Taekwondo. And the horse stance, oftentimes Kung Fu does thighs parallel to the ground, or many Kung Fu styles do that, not all of them. Karate may do it a little bit more open, Taekwondo, etc. Actually, karate may be a little more parallel. So what we're doing here is still its own version. We're going to just keep the weight halfway down, soften the lower back so that you want to have the natural curve of your spine, but not so much that you're flexing. So especially if you are someone who wears heels, if you wear heels or any high heel, boots, etc., you might find that that puts you on your calves and accentuates the curves. And one of the challenges with that is that it creates unnecessary tension. And one of the things that we're working on with Tai Chi is minimizing tension. Tension is not bad, but minimizing it so that you can optimize your body as a system. Because if you're spending more, if it costs you more to have a certain amount of tension, more energy, if you could save some of that energy and just hold that posture more efficiently, then you have more energy to do other things. So it's pretty simple, very simple math. So we want to minimize tension. So when you drop into this horse stance, you're going to soften the muscles so that you only carry the tension that's required to hold the posture. That imaginary string lifting you from the top of the head that we talked about earlier is going to stay. It's going to remain. So if you were standing and then you open up and you sit in this stance, you still feel, I'm using my hair as an example, that string holding you up. And you're still going to allow, once you feel that little lift, relaxation to cascade down each vertebrae, as if each vertebrae is getting farther and farther away from the last, all the way down. This is a nice little exercise, mental visualization exercise, that helps you soften all the way through your hips. When you get to your hips, they should feel like a bowl of water that you don't want to tip over in any direction. So you find the balance inside the hips, and then keep going down, bringing your awareness down to the knees, making sure that the weight is mostly on your heels rather than the ball of the foot and the big toe. Remember, ball of the foot and big toe is aggressive. Nothing wrong at all with aggression, but aggression has to be utilized intentionally. So right now, we're intentionally utilizing the passive state. The passive state is to have the weight on the heels so we can allow the body to soften, to minimize tension. And then when we want to activate tension intentionally, then we do it. So good stuff. Weight down, mouth closed, tongue on the ceiling of the mouth. Everything that we spoke about earlier is going to come into play here. Hollow fists that look almost like your own, meditation, but hollow fists, very, very gentle hollow fists, very gentle. And you're going to inhale and connect those hollow fists right to the blade, that little hip bone right there on either side. You're going to inhale and gently connect them. Once you connect them, set it in your mind. This is almost called a mental lock. You just switch on that you're holding the position, and then it sticks. So you're going to allow it to just stick there. Everything between the wrist and the shoulder, you're going to soften out. You want to minimize that tension. And then we're going to allow the pelvis to rotate on the femur. And this exercise is called Dragon Whips Its Head. It's really helpful at redirecting heat that gets trapped in the chest. So if you're stressed, it's a great exercise to do to help recirculate that stress or the heat because of the stress. Because stress will get trapped in muscles, it'll get trapped in organs and do damage. So you want to just recirculate any of the energy so that you can have that balanced body. So soften, inhale deep, exhale, pelvis rotates on the femur. So I'm going to come forward, pelvis rotating on the femur. Inhale, breath pulls you to the side and up, leaning back, keeping the knees bent, eyes on the belly button, exhaling down. The breath should feel like a rope that you're climbing. So I'm going to do this with my hands only to illustrate how my breathing is moving. And then exhaling, releasing the rope and coming down. Remember, the breath is visualized the entire time as a color. And releasing. Inhaling, the breath lifts you up, Eyes on your belly button, exhaling down. We're going to reverse it. Now, inhale, the breath lifts you up. Feel the opening up in the hip, the obliques, exhaling down. Keeping the knees bent with the weight mostly on the heels. That means that even when you shift forward, the weight stays up, emphasized on your heels. And that helps you keep the weight on the backs of the legs and minimizes the pressure on the knees. So you can hold this stance longer. Inhale, come up. Exhale, shift, and we'll take a little break with our uplifting heaven exercise. If you remember that, inhaling up, exhale, wash the color out to the palms and fingertips. Inhaling up, interlace the fingers, exhaling down. Inhaling up, exhale, wash the color from the belly down the arms to the palms and fingertips. Remember, your breath is a color. Why? Why is the breath a color? So the breath is a color because you're giving your attention a vehicle. The visualization is a vehicle for your attention, just like you're driving. Once you have more control over your attention, you can program your attention with intent. And intent is not focus. Intent is very specific tasks that you want your attention to do. You may do a movement, but a movement can be applied in so many different ways. The movement of pushing forward can be applied in so many different ways. But what do you want to push? Do you want to push an object? Do you want to push through an object? Do you want to push something down? Or do you want to just slide it? Those are different intentions. Sliding something versus knocking something over. A push can do many different things. So we are focused on the clarity of our intent. And the only way we can program at that level is by having control over the attention. And control over the attention is achieved by visualization and visualizing the breath. So it's something you can do inside your body. Very, very powerful stuff. And we're about to start Neigong. So remember, Neigong is like weightlifting for intention. It was considered the inner circle teachings of Tai Chi. My father placed Neigong on the internet in like the early 2000s and got death threats for putting this stuff online. And that I remember seeing that as a kid. I said to myself, everyone should have this. Everyone should have access to this stuff. And he was learning Neigong privately from his sifu, our family's Tai Chi master, before our family's Tai Chi master got permission from his father to teach Westerners. So it was really a sensitive subject. So my intention is to share it all for free as fast as possible, So I love doing that. And there's not just that. I mean, there are many different exercises that were kept for years and years and years away from the students that weren't considered the inner circle worthy. And myself and the U.S. Tai Chi Push Hands team, the way that we've operated is that we do our best to show the secrets right away, because there's no such thing as secrets, and that's not the way the art's going to advance. That's not the way the world's going to benefit from this stuff. So here we go. We're going to start some Neigong. Remember, weightlifting for attention. And of course, please like and follow to help grow what we're doing here, because this is our very first night doing this on TikTok. And I'm Coach Jan, and I love you guys. So the first Neigong exercise we're going to do is going to be very simple. And this is the second exercise. Screw it. We're going to do the first one. I'm going to start you guys with the very first one, and it's going to be great. It's going to be a little more, I'm just going to have to lower the camera here. So there we go. We're going to go from number one, and this is from the 12 yin set of Neigong. The 12 yin set of Neigong is from the Wu style of Tai Chi, and this first exercise is called Golden Tortoise. So we're going to go through maybe the first 4 exercises today, and disclaimer, I learned this so slowly as a teenager. So slowly. I did, little bits here and there as a kid, but I started really taking it seriously as a teenager. And it blew my mind. The circulation I felt, the energy I felt, the awareness I felt, it changed my perspective of movement. And so we're going to start right now. But what I'm getting at is that I did this slowly, incrementally. I have deep dives on my YouTube channel of hour-long versions of each one of these exercises. So you can always check on there for more detailed breakdowns. But I'll be making new breakdowns of each one of these for TikTok that'll be much faster. But remember that even if you can get the concepts quickly, that it's really time under tension that builds strength. Meaning that's a weightlifting term, a bodybuilding term, but it's the reality that tension, pressure creates the diamond, and that happens over time. So these exercises, the deepening of your awareness within these exercises and slowly building up with these exercises is absolutely necessary. So we're going to be doing this every day, so you can always join me. So this first exercise, here we go. Inhaling up, breath lifts the wrists. Exhale, push the color to the palms and fingertips. Notice that I'm with my feet shoulder length and a half apart. And we're going to inhale, draw the wrists in. Exhale, just let the hands float down. Just for this first one, let the hands float down. And we'll talk about a little bit more of the meaning behind this hands floating down in another session. Inhaling up. Exhale, wash the color to the palms and fingertips. And you're going to inhale. Remember I said I have scar tissue on my wrist, so your palm should face the ceiling. My wrist won't turn all the way, but the palm should face the ceiling. And you're going to create hollow fists, hollow, gentle fists, facing the ceiling. And pelvis rotates on the femur, exhaling forward. I'll do it from the side so you can see. Exhale, pelvis rotates on the femur. My chest is going to become parallel to the ground. I'm going to turn around here. The top of my head is going to be pushing forward. My tailbone is going to be going straight back. Straight back. And my eyes are going to look straight down. My chest, again, parallel to the ground. My back should be flat like a table as much as possible. Inhaling into the belly. And exhale, washing the breath down your arms, pushing the color down the arms, the palms and fingertips. Inhaling again. Exhale, wash the color through the legs. And we're only going to do 2 breaths here because I want to build up with you guys. Inhale, open the hands, opening the palms facing the ceiling, and exhale, crossing the hands through the legs and then uncrossing them, reaching straight back through the legs. When you do this, it's very common for your upper back to bend like this. If that has happened to you, lift your collarbone to keep the posture flat, the back flat like a table. And inhale twice, inhale to the belly. Exhale down the arms, the palms and fingertips. And one more inhale to the belly. Exhale down the legs. And let the hands float straight down. Inhale, breath lifts the wrists. And the wrists lift the body. Once again, exhaling down, inhaling, the breath lifts the wrists. The wrists lift the body. Notice that my wrist and my hip were almost connected here. Exhaling out to the palms and fingertips. Inhale, breath lifts the wrist. So we're going to take a little break in between each one of these Neigong exercises. And this break, inhaling up, drawing the breath up the leg. We're going to shake out the legs because it's very intense on the legs. Exhale out. We're going to inhale, draw the leg up. Exhale, push the color visualization through. This is called a flash relaxation. As a matter of fact, the person that you know that has done the most well-known flash relaxation is done by Michael Jackson with his kicks. So inhaling up, exhale out. What is a flash relaxation? You're inhaling, drawing the color visualization into the belly, and you exhale, push the color through the toes. And while you do that, you soften the muscles. As you soften the muscles, the blood cascades down. So you have multiple downward energies happening at the same time. You have the push of the leg. You have the blood cascading within the leg. You have the visualization and the breath work pushing through the leg. The color visualization shoots through the toes. The breath pushing down and switch. And so you soften and you whip out that color visualization through the hand. You can do it on any limb, etc. And I have an essay on Michael Jackson and the Qigong that he did, which is why it's so, I love sharing this. It is so challenging to become a Michael Jackson impersonator, to mimic Michael, The reason it's challenging to mimic Michael, one of the reasons, is because he did Qigong. And he's actually taught it. And he's taught it on video. And everyone's missed it. So I'm just gonna show the video where he teaches it. And I'll put that out soon. But inhaling up, draw the color into the belly. And if anyone knows the video I'm talking about where he teaches Qigong, please put it in the comments. Okay, inhaling up. Exhale, kick through the toes. Remember, this is a flash relaxation. And I also should say here that for some people, balance may be very challenging. And if you need to, just grab a chair or hold a wall. So it's totally fine if you use support. Remember, Tai Chi meets you where you're at. You don't have to do any one thing. As a matter of fact, if any teacher ever tells you that this one move is just for this thing, you should kind of question them. Because every move has pretty much infinite applications from a certain perspective. And this is me as a coach, at literally the world class of my sport, Tai Chi push hands, where for us, if it's not repeatable, it's not competition worthy. That means if it doesn't really work, and if I can't do it on grapplers, doesn't matter what style, if it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or Judo or Sambo or Shuai Jiao or any grappling sport, if I can't do it on somebody that doesn't care that I do Tai Chi, then it doesn't really work and I shouldn't be training it. So I say that and say, all these moves really do have infinite application, because at the end of the day, it's got to be tailored to you. It's got to be tailored to your needs. So grab a chair if you need to. If you can only lift your foot an inch above the ground, that's fine. If you can lift your thigh all the way up here, that's great too. It's whatever you need. So inhale, draw that breath like a fishing line up the leg as high as you can while maintaining your balance. And exhale, kick the breath through the toes. I'm only using my hand to coordinate visually for you right now, so you can see that everything's happening in the same direction. I'm softening my muscle while I'm flexing it out. Beautiful. Now let's go to the second exercise. Remember, each one of these, that was golden tortoise. I have each one of them I have thousands of videos on YouTube that are really extensive in Tai Chi. So if you ever need to get deeper knowledge on any of this stuff, but I will be putting out the smaller versions and more detailed, tailored for TikTok in the coming weeks and months. So it's going to be a whole journey here. And that's why we're doing this today. So please like and follow. Next exercise, we just came up out of golden tortoise and we're exhaling. And we are now in what's called embracing the one. Embracing the one, feet shoulder width and a half apart in your half horse stance. Middle finger as high as your shoulder level. And the elbows should be relaxed as if gravity, you have weights on your elbows and gravity just pulls them right down. So if for some of you who might do Tai Chi on here, you might be saying, hey, we do something called wind beneath our wings, and you have your some space here. But in Wu style, it's going to be straight down. So what's the deal with that, you might be saying? So and if you don't know about this, great. This is going to be a great learning moment here. So all Tai Chi styles do something, some people call it opening the valves or closing the valves, but all of them have the shoulder blades disappearing into the upper back. I'm going to turn around just so you can see it. The shoulder blades disappear into your upper back. So it smooths out. If you feel the blades sharp here, and then they disappear inside. Can't really feel them much anymore. And if you have a partner that you're doing this with right now, test each other. Put your hand on their back and just have them move here. Now notice that I didn't lift my shoulder. The circulation, I don't always like to use the word chi. And the reason I don't like to use the word chi too much is because it's so misused. It's thrown around for like chi is energy and blah, blah, blah. There's still chi's real, but it's misused and misrepresented in so many different ways. So it's a sensitive word for me. But that being said, the chi gathers, the circulation gathers at the shoulders. So when you put tension in the shoulders, it throttles circulation. And you can do it right now and just feel the difference in your fingertips when you lift your shoulders and not. Soften or lift and soften. You'll just feel a slight difference in the circulation in your fingers. So the more aware you are of your circulation, the more you're going to feel that difference. So when you let this shoulder blade disappear into the back, you keep it soft, on the shoulders so it doesn't lift up. Keeping the shoulders soft. What that does, and the reason I started talking about this is that every Tai Chi style does this, but in its own way, and they all say that they're right, but they're all good. So no one of them is correct. They all actually have very different applications in movement overall, especially in martial arts, and that's why they're all good. So Wu style keeps their elbows down and shoulder blades in, versus, let's say, a reverse breathing Tai Chi form from Grandmaster William C.C. Chen, where there's wind beneath the wings, and the shoulder blades disappear when the wind beneath the wings happens, and inflation, this comes up. So there's all these different ways to do it. So I just recommend for this Wu style version of embracing the one, keep your elbows down, fingers forward, the hands are a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, and you're going to keep that imaginary string lifted from the top of the head. And remember, while you're doing these exercises, you can always check in, and you should be checking in with the body, asking yourself questions, asking the body questions if you need to, if you'd like. But just, are you as soft as you can be? Is there any unnecessary tension? And my hands doing this is really more so illustrating what my mind is doing. My mind is looking, it's gently scanning different areas of my body. I'm looking inward. I'm asking my organs, this area of my belly, is anything being held tightly? And if I do feel that, I tell it to relax, to release any unnecessary tension. Now, you saw that I just dropped out some tension, but not everyone can do that. And there are areas of my body where it's more challenging for me to do that. So if you find yourself doing your best to soften an area, but you still feel some tension holding on, there's something you can do about that. You inhale into the belly, giving the breath a color, whatever visually, intuitively comes to you. You visualize it in the belly. And then when you exhale, you push that color to wherever you find the tension in your body. Wherever that point might be, you push the color to that area. And you program that color with the intention of melt, soften. You melt the tension away. Inhale into the belly. Wherever you have that tension in your body, exhale, push the color into that area. Visualize the color as if it's a snake or a train going from the belly to wherever it needs to go in the body and softening that area. And if it's wide, if it's not just one point, but maybe it's your entire abdomen, maybe everything inside feels like tense and stuck. So inhale deep and exhale, just wash the area. Spread it as wide as you can. Remember, all these exercises are really about training your ability to have expanded awareness. So whether you're a martial artist or an actor or a business person, having the ability to go from you to your opponents or to your partners or to your industry, the playing field, the field of play, your arena, to be able to wash the arena with your awareness gives you data that you can make decisions with. And that's what we're doing here. Tai Chi is an amazing, amazing opportunity. It's a skill set that allows you to slow yourself down and speed up perception, which means it's just like slow motion. When you take slow motion video, regular speed video might be 30 frames or film 24 frames. But when you take slow motion, it might be 120 frames. It might be 240. It might be 1,000 frames in 1 second rather than 24 frames a second. So that's more pictures within the same amount of time. Tai Chi gives you that ability to get more information in the same amount of time that your partner or your opponent or an industry might be gathering information. You're gathering more in the same amount of time. And that's the skill set. And to those who may not know what they're looking at, it looks like you're moving slow. But what you're actually doing is you're just gathering data. And then when you're ready, you can move at whatever speed you need to. And that's the value. That is the massive value of Tai Chi. It's just being able to have so much that others are missing. And when you really recognize what that really means, it's not so much about beating other people, it's about adding value, because you have more information that you can make more educated decisions on. And so hopefully we can actually make better decisions for our environment, all those in it. So I love Tai Chi. So this exercise, my wonderful tangents, inhale into the belly, exhale through the arms. Now let's get more specific about that. And I'll always go from the general concept and I'll get to the granular, more advanced stuff. And when I say more advanced, I put quotations around it because I'm always learning and I'm always deepening. And I don't really think that there is the destination outside of the desire to consistently better oneself. So that's how I personally feel about it. So I'm always going to be updating my training. I have some stuff on YouTube that I'm like, it's not really how I teach anymore, but it's still valuable. So inhale through the soft part of the arms. You're going to inhale and draw the color visualization like as if these are straws and you're drawing the color down the soft part into the belly. And when you exhale, you're pushing the color through the shoulder blades, wrapping around down the hard part, the outside of the arms, down the tops of the hands out. Again, this is a more advanced version of the breath work. You do not have to do that right now. Just inhale. If you're doing this exercise, just do 6 breaths. Inhale to the belly and out. If you want to get more advanced, inhale through the hands into the belly. Exhale out. If you want to get more advanced, inhale through the hands, the soft part of the arm, into the belly. And exhale through the back, down the hard part on the tops of the hands, off your fingertips, off your nails. Then we're starting to get very specific. Inhaling deep. 3 more breaths. Now, you also might want to, just if you watch TV or something like that, you might watch a show. I know that One Piece just came out, so I still haven't seen it yet. But you may want to watch an entire episode standing like this, which is amazing. That's kind of something my dad does. He does it like Negong and weights while he watches stuff. So, lots of value there. 1 more breath. Exercise number 3. Turn the palms to the ceiling. If you remember, if you've been watching the stream, I have scar tissue from birth on my wrists. So that means I can't turn my wrists and never have been able to my entire life all the way. So your palms should face the ceiling or the sky if you're outside. Mine will not turn all the way, but if you can, turn more. This is called holding the golden bowl. This is exercise number 3. Again, shoulder blades forward. Look at my back and how flat it is. And remember, I do believe some would say you drop the curve in the spine, meaning that it drops out completely and the back is completely flat. I used to do that, but as I've gotten a little bit more well-rounded, I really do believe in, at least at this point in my development, allowing the natural curves of the spine to exist. So I'm not dropping out all the way, but I'm just softening as much as I can to minimize the tension. Especially, again, if you wear high heels, you might find that the buttock sticks out and you have more tension in the lower back. So if you have been wearing high heels, which I consider very dangerous, I do my best for my comic book stuff that I write and action stuff that I shoot. I do my best to never put a hero in high heels because of like the reality of what it does to the body. So soften here even more if you wear high heels. But here we have the palms facing up, shoulder blades in, eyes forward. And what's going to change here from the last exercise, which the palms were down, and I should have noted that the hands here in push hands are actually, this is how you keep yourself, this is kind of like a 50-50 clinch in wrestling, aiming for the elbows. So this is a defensive position, but can easily turn into an offensive position. So that's the exercise we were just in. Now we're with the palms up. If you are a martial artist and you think like that, think of this as an underhook. So you have your underhooks in, or you're sliding into an underhook, meaning that you're just penetrating the opponent's underarm area and you're about to slide in maybe with your hip, etc. But you don't need to think like that for this necessarily. So palms facing up, middle finger as high as the shoulders, tongue on the ceiling of the mouth. slight tension in the anus, very, very subtle, which is the counterpoint for the tongue on the ceiling of the mouth. In traditional Chinese medicine, it's like the positive and negative sides of a battery that connect what's called the big orbit. The reason that's important, the reason we're talking about that right now, is because we're going to start doing big orbit breathing right now. Big orbit breathing means instead of doing the breath work into the belly and pushing through the limbs, from the limbs back into the belly, etc., we're going to breathe along the conception vessel, which is all the energy that runs up and down the front of the body, again, in traditional Chinese medicine, and the governing vessel, all the energy that runs up and down the back of the body. So here, if you've been taught, if you've ever done this before, or if you do yoga and you breathe up your back and down your front, that's totally fine. Do not change it for me. Don't do that. I was taught originally to breathe up the front and down the back, and I noticed that I feel better in my life when I do that. So I always like to say this to people, if you've never done it before, join me in breathing up the front, exhaling down the back. That's going to be our big orbit. If you have done it before, it's always been told to me by masters to not change it, to keep it going up the back and down the front. So just whatever works for you. But right now, if you're doing this for the first time with me, we're going to inhale, starting at the toes. The only reason I'm moving my hand is to illustrate where the mind is going. Otherwise, I'd have both of my hands here. We're going to inhale and bring the breath up from the toes like a tidal wave. We're going to roll our attention up the leg, over the hips, up the belly, up the chest, over the shoulders, up the face, tips of the nose, forehead to the top of the head. And we're going to exhale, washing down the back, the head, the upper back, the middle back, the lower back, down the buttocks, backs, the legs, the calves, ankles, heels into the ground. And we're going to do it again. And you're going to inhale up the front like a tidal wave, exhaling down the back like a waterfall. And this is big orbit breathing. So I'll be static and do the same thing, inhaling up the front, exhaling down the back. Now, I just gave you a very dense visualization, meaning that the amount of strength, remember, this is like weightlifting for intention, so it actually requires strength, similar to weight. If you add more weight, what they're called in Tai Chi, or what we like to call them, are cumulative vectors. Cumulative vectors means that you have this, and then you add that, and then you add this, and then you add that. So all the things before are still there, which means that your mind has to be strong enough to maintain them. So that strength is built up over time. It doesn't just happen. For some people, they might be innately stronger than others in being able to do that. That does not necessarily mean someone's more intelligent than somebody else, etc. There are many different types and forms of intelligence. So, but cumulative vectors is very important, and I just gave you a very dense set of vectors. So we're going to simplify it even more. We're going to inhale up the front and just feel a sense of a tidal wave rising. And exhale down the back, feel the sense of a waterfall. Inhaling up the front, tidal wave. Exhaling down the back, waterfall. 3 more times, inhaling up the front, tidal wave. Exhale down the back, waterfall. And remember, the breath is still a visualization, but now with this exercise, we're connecting it even more to the sense of circulation in our body. So the awareness comes up, the awareness goes down. 2 more breaths. 1 more. And notice my smile. Let's just take a second here and talk about that. The smile is for you. There's always, my teacher would always say, when you do Tai Chi, you want to smile inwardly. The smile is just for you. And eventually, as my teacher would say, you want all of your organs to smile. And I think that's a very lofty goal, but it's awesome. Think about that for a second, just how it feels. There's all these physiological effects that happen when we smile, all these chemicals that are released. And the smile is inward, it's soft, it's just for you, and you're doing it, if you can, the entire time. An inward smile just for you. All of your Neigong exercises, all your Tai Chi, eventually walking throughout your day with a gentle inward smile. And, of course, honoring your emotions. If you don't feel like smiling in a particular moment, of course, I think it's really, really important to be able to honor all the emotions, but especially to be able to program yourself with what you want to feel. Because, I love the saying, doesn't matter what you wash your brain with, or it does matter what you wash your brain with. At the end of the day, everyone is brainwashed, but you need to wash your brain with the things that you wish to wash it with, to clean the body, clean the mind, clean the spirit. And so program yourself, otherwise you will be programmed by things and people and their ways. So you want to take the initiative to program yourself in this moment with that gentle smile, that good feeling that you allow yourself to have, that you empower yourself to have. Inhaling deep, exhaling down. Let's just take a moment. Inhaling up. We're doing our uplifting heaven. And I'll go over the details if you just joined of uplifting heaven. Feet shoulder width apart, parallel, inhaling up. Exhale, wash the color to the palms of the fingertips, like you're pushing it out of each hand. Notice I'm doing this on both sides. And notice that it's in front of my hips, not directly to the side of it. Just slightly in front. And then inhale, drawing the color up. Interlace the fingers, exhaling down, soften the hips, soften the knees, and then inhaling up. Exhaling down. We're going to do one more Neigong exercise. One more. And it's the most important Neigong exercise. Now, when I say the most important, I mean in all my years, my entire life, I've literally grown up in the martial arts. I grew up under my mother and father's martial arts masters in Kung Fu and Tai Chi in Chinatown, New York. I'm living in LA right now, but I grew up in New York City. So of all the exercises I've ever come across, this is the one that is the elixir. We're going to do it right now. And it's called Jade Rabbit Watches the Moon. It's really great. So we're going to do it right now. This is an energy storage exercise. I'm going to hype this up a little bit more. Deepak Chopra has this amazing, amazing quote. I love it so much. And it's from the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. And I'm going to misquote it a little bit, but you'll get the idea. That a human being is responsible for, or human beings are responsible for finding things that allow them to generate and store energy for themselves. So this is one of those exercises that allows you to generate and store energy. And the reason that it does so is because of the visualization, the intention, and recognizing the intention is connected to faith or a knowing. The knowing that when you do this, that happens. I will do this and that will happen. And it's really, really powerful. And as a matter of fact, when I've pulled Neigong, which is what we're doing, the weightlifting for intention style exercises. And Neigong means power expertise. That's a literal translation. Like Gong is expertise. Gong Fu is like it's a great expertise in something. So Neigong is like power expertise. So when doing this exercise, when I pulled it, when I stopped it, when I've gotten too into my athletics, when I became the captain of the U.S. Tai Chi push hands team, obviously I'm supposed to be a model of like Tai Chi and all these energy works while also wrestling and stuff like that. But I got so into the other aspects of martial arts and weightlifting and all this other stuff that sometimes I would stop doing my Neigong for months. And then I ended up in the hospital several times, like 3 times, because I was burning myself out, because I'm also an entrepreneur. I run media companies. And again, check out Justice for Hire on TikTok. You'll like it. But the amount of work that our culture pushes the amount of work in our culture that entrepreneurs put in without necessarily having the counterbalance of a healthy life, you can really burn yourself out. You burn the candle on both ends and have nothing left. And that definitely happened to me. And it happened to me because I was already used to operating on a really high level of energy because I had the Neigong. So I didn't realize how important it was. I thought it was just me until I pulled it out. And when I had to return to the Neigong, it was this exercise that reminded me every single time that it's what a gift it is. And all the exercises are great. All of them have their own benefits, but this one is the key energy storage exercise. And so that was me hyping it up because it's that important to me. It's that special, and I'm happy to share it with you. We're going to have our feet shoulder width apart, or shoulder width and a half apart. So that means if this is shoulder width, You're going to add 50% more, and then you're going to sink and sit. When you sink and sit, you're going to have that imaginary string lifting you from the top of the head that I'll illustrate with my hair. And just feel it. Sinking, sitting. Really nice. As you sink and sit and feel this imaginary string, that centerline awareness, which should feel like a pillar of light inside of you, just a pillar of your awareness. Each vertebrae gets farther away from the last. As a matter of fact, we'll start this exercise from the last exercise that we just did. We have our posture. Fix my hair. We're going to inhale and draw our wrists in. Exhaling, letting the hands float down. This is the proper way to make the transition in the 12 yin set of Neigong from exercise 3 to exercise 4. Inhale. Hands go to the small of the back, and you're going to make a diamond and hold your breath. Swallow your saliva twice. And exhale, pushing the wrists into the lower back like a massage. Inhale, breath lifts the wrists, and the right hand will be over the left. The right hand will be directly on the solar plexus, which is right underneath the sternum. So right here in the soft part where it gets soft, that's your solar plexus. So your right hand will be right there. Your left hand is going to be on the lower dantian, 3 finger lengths or 2 inches below your belly button. Both palms will face up, and you're going to hold your breath. Swallow the saliva twice. And while you're holding your breath, that second saliva, pay attention to it. Visualize it going all the way down into the lower dantian. When it hits the lower dantian, almost like a drop of water in a pond and you see ripples, or like an explosion, you're going to inhale. Slow motion explosion. The left hand comes over the right. The right hand turns as the left hand comes over the right. Now both palms are facing down. Notice that my left hand's on my collarbone. Exhale, push, sink, and sit. Drop your stance. Exhale even deeper. We haven't talked about this much today, but there are multi-stage inhalations and exhalations. Each stage has its own intention. So now we're going to do a 2-stage inhalation and a 2-stage exhalation. Stage 1, my palms are out. My fingers are as if they're touching the tops of water, and I'm going to back up as much as possible. Inhaling. Stage 1, the collar goes into the belly, right hand over left. Inhale even deeper. Stage 2, hand comes to the collarbone. Exhale, stage 1, pushing the color into the belly, making it more dense. Exhale, stage 2, flatten that color. And notice that my hands are going out wide. I'm going to turn 45 degrees so you can just see my full body. Inhaling, stage 1. Inhale deeper, stage 2. Exhale, stage 1. Exhale deeper, stage 2. Inhale, stage 1. Inhale deeper, stage 2. Exhale, stage 1. Exhale deeper, stage 2. I wanted to give you the breathing formula, and now we're going to add another vector. Cumulative vectors, remember that concept. So now we're going to add, Tai Chi is multiple layers of visualization stacked on top of each other. And each one of them has its own validity, and each one of them can be practiced for years without the other, which is why you'll find people that have never done color visualization in their Tai Chi. Some people reach out to me, they're like, hey, I've never heard of this. This is incredible. What do I do to start? And I learned Tai Chi from the beginning with color visualization. So to me, it's amazing. But that's how Tai Chi is. There's so many different ways to do it, and they're all valid. And here we're layering many, many different disciplines on top of each other to get this amazing experience. So now, but I would say that when you train with me, that's what you're getting. But with this exercise, it's actually very pure to the Wu style. So the visualization is next. Inhale, see the breath as a color in the belly. Exhale, make that color more dense. Exhale, even deeper, flatten it. Inhale, gather the color. It should just be very, very bright. Inhale, even deeper. That brightness expands, and you can feel the heat. And the exhale, condense that visualization, almost like a pearl. It's like a big sun, and then you're making it into a form, a pearl. Exhale even deeper and flatten that pearl like dough. So now we have the visualization. We have the two-stage inhalation, the two-stage exhalation, but now we have the visualization. Color comes in, gets brighter. Color condenses to become solid, and then exhale and becomes flat. Color comes in, gets even brighter. Color condenses, color becomes flat. Now, here's the next level. Every time you exhale, you know the visualization. Actually, I'll just give you the way my teacher would describe it. Every time you exhale, you're flattening the layer and adding another layer on top when you inhale. So you're never actually visually releasing energy ever for this exercise. As a matter of fact, the entire 12 yin set of Neigong is all about energy storage. The 12 yin set of Neigong, the 12 yang set, of Neigong is all about energy expulsion, meaning pushing the energy out, shooting it out to the body, being able to direct it in different energy, in different angles. And it's very helpful. Neigong is likened to ammunition. And so essentially you build up the ammunition, then you can fire it. These exercises and these visualization and the intentions that we're doing right now are key to that experience. Otherwise, it's just breathing, and there's tons of scientific data behind just the breathing and the movement. There's amazing health benefits here. But the deeper that we go, the more good that comes of it. So, inhale stage 1, even deeper stage 2. Exhale stage 1, exhale even deeper stage 2. Inhale, color is bright. Inhale even deeper, gets brighter. Exhale, condenses the color into a solid shape. Exhale even deeper, flattens the shape. Inhale, stack the color on the last shape. So you have the base of the last energy, and then you're filling up on top of it. Exhale, make it condense, and then exhale deeper, flat. And now here's the final concept. And this is what my teacher would say. This is one of the first things they told me, but I love organizing it a little bit differently so that everybody can get whatever level resonates with you. Focus on that one, and if you can do all 4, that's fantastic. But remember, this is all scaffolded, so you want that base of the breath work and visualization. So the concept that my teacher used to talk about is that every breath you take, you're filling up a big bag of rice. And every exhalation, you're stacking it on the last bag. You inhale, you fill up a big bag of rice, and you exhale, you flatten it on the last bag. So it's pretty simple. Without breaking it down to 2-stage inhalation, 2-stage exhalation, it's pretty simple. But I like breaking it down a little bit more in detail. So, now let's talk about faith. The concept that every time you take that breath, you know you're getting stronger. And every time you exhale, you know you're storing the energy. And notice that I'm standing. I'm standing on the inhalation. I'm sitting on the exhalation. This is the first exercise that we do. Every exercise from the next 8 exercises of the 12 yin set of Neigong, every exercise is going to have the standing and sitting to warm yourself up, and then eventually you don't stand at all, you stay seated. As a matter of fact, you'll build up enough strength in this exercise, in your half horse stance, to hold this for several hours straight. I think the longest I ever held it was 3 hours straight. So you do the breathing, the standing and sitting to pump the chi, quote unquote. And everything we're doing still applies, meaning 2-stage inhalation, exhale stage 1, exhale stage 2. Inhale stage 1, inhale stage 2, exhale stage 1, exhale stage 2. And we're going to review for a moment each one of these little concepts. Inhale stage 1, inhale stage 2, exhale stage 1, exhale stage 2. Now, draw the color in, it gets brighter, exhale, make it condensed, exhale even deeper, flat. Inhale, draw the color in. Inhale even deeper, it gets super bright. Exhale, condense it to a solid shape. Exhale even deeper, flatten that shape, and then stack more on top of it. Inhaling even brighter on top of it. Exhale, condensed on top of it, flatten on top of it. Now another one. You're drawing another ball of energy into the belly on top of the last flattened pancake in the belly. Exhale down, and of course the knowledge that every time you take a breath in, gathering, every time you exhale, your story. Gather, store. Another analogy is just the bars on your cell phone. The battery. This is truly a battery charging exercise. And finally, the faith and feeling full afterward. So we did 4 exercises. The live replay will be here. But the thing to do at the end of these, and we're going to end in a moment. And of course, if you haven't already liked and followed, please do. That'll be super helpful because we're growing this, we're growing the channel. Yeah, start stretching. So, as a matter of fact, let's get out of the stance properly. The proper way to get out of the stance is exhale into either side. Soften the groin on either side. Shift your weight to that leg and gently stand up, uplifting heaven twice. Exhale down. Remember uplifting heaven, which means inhale, breath lifts the wrists. Exhale, push the color to the palms of fingertips. Notice this is a multi-stage. We're starting to practice multi-stage inhalation and exhalation here. Exhale down. Inhaling up, exhale down. We'll do more of that tomorrow. Okay, so we're going to inhale up. Let's bring the feet 2 fists apart. So if you just measure down, this is called grasping the toes, and this is a 8 pieces of brocade exercise. We're going to reach to the fingers to behind us, the wall behind us, chest to the ceiling or sky, hips forward, weight on the toes. Exhale, butt back, fingers forward. It's going to be as if you're pushing the color through the hands and painting with it. And you're going to soften. You're going to go all the way down. And if you can only go here, that's fine. If you can only go here, that's fine. If you can only go here, if you can go all the way down more than me, that's great too. And then you're going to exhale, soften the legs, and inhale up. We're only going to do 2 of these. Breath lifts the wrists. Remember to inhale as you come up. Fingers back, chest up, hips forward, weight on the toes. Exhale, butt back, fingers forward, pushing the color through the hands like you're painting. Like you're painting with the color visualization. Once you go all the way down as far as you can, you're going to soften. Don't push yourself too hard. Soften the knees. Inhale, breath lifts the wrists, wrists lift the body. Now we're going to put 1 foot forward. What I mean by that is we're going to take 1 foot and we're going to just place it in front. The toe, notice that only my heel is touching. The toes are up. So, and I can lift all my weight from the back leg. Inhaling up, roll like there's a ball in the belly. Exhale, wash the color down the legs. Inhaling up like you're rolling a ball and switch legs. Rolling a ball, and exhale, wash the color down the legs through the muscle. You're washing the color through the muscle, softening the muscle. Inhaling deep, exhale, wash down. Now the legs out 45 degrees. Inhaling up, switch legs, legs out 45 degrees. Always stretch after you do your Nagong. And of course, drink some water and eat. Now you switch 90 degrees, which means that 1 foot is this way, 1 foot is this way. So it's like an L shape. L shape. And exhale, wash the color down one leg. Inhaling up, switch legs. Exhale, wash the color down the other. Inhaling up, like you're lifting a drape over the head. Exhale, wash it down the legs. Feet shoulder width apart and parallel. Inhaling up. Turn to the left side onto the tippy toes. Exhale, wash down one leg. Left leg, inhaling up like you're lifting a drape. Gentle lifting to your right side. Exhale down. Inhaling up over the head. Exhale down the back. And now, finally, self-massage. Once you do your stretches, you always finish Tai Chi, Qigong, Neigong with a self-massage. We're going to do a lot more every day, I promise you. I've been doing this since I was a kid, and it's so important, so helpful. And when you're down here, you're gonna start to slap. Slap the legs, up the body, up the inside of the arm, turn, down the outside. Again, up the inside of the soft part of the arm, turn, down the hard part. Switch sides. Up the soft inside of the arm, turn, down the hard outside of the arm, turn. Up the soft inside of the arm, turn, down the hard outside of the arm. And then slapping over the shoulders. And down the back, slapping on the upper back, the middle back, lower back, slapping, 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 slapping. And then inhale, coming up very slowly. And we're going to massage. Take the palms, inhale to the belly. Your hands are like hoses, meaning when you exhale, you're pushing the color from the lower dantian, the belly, through the arm, through the palm, back into you. You're creating a circuit, and you're going to exhale. Inhale to the belly, exhale, push the color through the palms, into the lungs, into the chest, massage the pectoral major muscles. Very, very important. Very important to massage here, especially for women. Very, very important. And now massaging all the lymph nodes, all the pressure points hidden inside the pecs, inside, between the rib cage, between the ribs. Massage, massage, and then tapping on the perimeter of pectoral major, the perimeter of the muscle, massaging it, massaging it. We're going to take our hands reaching out, lower hand on the soft floating rib, and we're going to go up to the higher rib. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to feel the pressure reverberate through the lungs to strengthen the lungs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And switch sides. Reaching out, floating rib up. 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For your immune system, to help strengthen the immune system in traditional Chinese medicine, we're going to tap these fingers on the sternum. Sternum. For either side of the collarbone. For the reproductive organs, again, this is all traditional Chinese medicine concepts here. You're going to look up and you're going to soften, relaxing all the way through the muscles, all the way through the groin, all the way through the reproductive organs, all the way down. And you're going to take your palm from your collarbone and you're going to massage up and push out. Remember, we're going to do this upward. Taxi cabs in New York, they used to do this. Hey! So it's kind of like that. And then the counterpoint is going to be on the back of the neck. As if you're getting sand off the back of your neck. Remember, this is the counterpoint to the concept for the reproductive organs. Relaxing. And massage earlobes for sleep. Right here. This is for hormones. Switch, squeezing. Really squeeze for the hormones. For the immune system, again, index and middle finger up, over, down, under, strong pressure. Up, over, down, under, strong pressure. Up, over the ear, down the back of the ear, underneath, strong pressure. And then up on the face to the side, release. Up on the face to the side, release. Up on the face to the side, release. Fingers through the scalp, front to back, back to front. Front to back, back to front. And now massage, front to back. So the first thing we did was rake, and now we're massaging. And now we're going to slap, front to back, back to front. Gentle fists, very gentle, hollow fists, gentle banging. Gentle banging. So I'm not squeezing, I'm just keeping the fist hollow. Gentle banging, front to back, back to front, and again. And now we're going to grab the scalp and we're going to knead it like dough. The connection that you make when you put the hands here is not simply touching the hair or the scalp. You want the connection, your awareness, to go underneath the skin. You want it to go underneath the muscle. You want it to go to the bone, because remember that your skull is made up of several bones fused together. And every single time you talk, it flexes and moves very, very subtly. So you want to intentionally stretch. And then next one, stretch it, squeezing, massaging, stretching, squeezing, massaging. So really deepen your awareness when you do this. And then reverse the circles. I do about 3 times. 1, 2, 3, 3. 4 fingers at the top of the forehead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And release. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then temples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reverse. Under the eyes. For the heart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch. Back and forth. Switch. And then the tops of the gums. Let the fingers slide in. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And below the gums, underneath. And let the fingers slide into the pressure points. That's what you're looking for. The pressure points underneath the gums. You find them and then you massage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tongue. Switch. And then flick your fingers out. You're flicking the tips of the nails, thumbs, 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3, grab, 1, 2, 3. And finally, closing the eyes. I always like to close with white light visualization. I always visualize whatever color intuitively comes to you, but when you finish, remember that white light, like through a prism, shows all colors. And that the void is where the light comes from. So the complete lack of light and the purity of light are 2 things that you want to be able to hold in superposition. You want to be able to have both of them exist at the same time for you and have respect for both of them. So don't value the light more than the dark. Value each as important. So right now we're going to value the light and fill ourselves with it. Inhaling white light, and we're going to use this visualization to push through our bone marrow and clean. So we're never just, you can just visualize light, that's great. But we're focusing on the health benefits and using the color visualization as a vehicle for our attention to drive the attention through, even to the end of our training, so that you're washing the attention through the bones and cleaning as deeply as you can in your own body. I need to drink some water, I'm a little thirsty. Inhale white light to the belly. Spread it to the whole body. Use that sound. Feel the vibration. Push it through the bones. Just saying ah. Inhaling white light up the front like a tidal wave. Exhaling down the back and use it to wash through the bones with the sound ah. Inhale white light up the left side like a tidal wave. Exhale down the right side like a waterfall through the bone marrow. Let it cascade across the body. Inhale white light into the belly. Exhale, push it down the legs into the ground. Let it come back up and around like a fountain in reverse, making a big bubble around you of white light. So now we're practicing getting the sound vibration, using the attention, the visualization as a vehicle for the attention to move it beyond the body and to start creating shapes around us with our visualization. And one more, inhaling light into the belly. Exhale, push to the top of the head, make a big bubble of light around you. Like a sprinkler or a fountain going out all directions, which actually mimics the natural magnetic lines of the body coming out of the top of the head. Go. And have gratitude for the body. the space that you're in, the good people in your life. And thank you guys. I'm Coach Jan and Jan Lucanus, and I love you guys. This is awesome. I'll be doing this 4 to 5 days a week. This is the very first one. We'll be doing Tai Chi, Neigong together. We'll go wherever we'll go together. I want your feedback. I want your questions, thoughts, ideas. So please always share those. Like I said before, one of the greatest gifts you can give anybody is a question. And please please follow if you have not done so already. Deeply appreciate that. If you want to train with me more privately, I have that as well. My website's janstaichi.com. I have a Patreon, patreon.com/janstaichi, where there's a bunch of perks for patrons as well. So check all that out. And like I said, I'm out here. So I love you guys. And I will see you tomorrow. I'm going to pick the time. We just started this today, so I'm not sure what time. I have to teach 2 classes tomorrow. Plus, run action choreography for Justice Ryer. So always check out the show that I'm doing with martial artists worldwide. It's super fun. So I love you guys, and please drink water right away if you've been training with me. Eat if you are hungry, but you should normally eat within 45 minutes of a training session. And this stuff seems soft, but it's actually requires some work. So see you guys soon. Love you. And thank you.